All right, welcome to another podcast.
Hey.
This is the Whisky Boys Podcast, and once again, we have our friend here, Andrew from the Average Whiskey Drinker.
What up?
We're super excited today. We have a fun topic. We're going to be talking about how to get allocated bottles, the question that everybody wants to know that is new to the whiskey game, or for people, I guess, who are struggling to get good bottles. We're going to talk about some bottles that are worth getting, from the ones that we had to search for, finally got, ones that we think are not worth the search. And then we'll just dive into all these pours right here.
Speaking of pours, can we do a pour first?
Yeah, I definitely
I
want to.
can't risk sobering up.
Yeah, we got to get something in us. What do you think we should start? So we have, I guess, tell the people what we have here. We have some Old Forester single barrels.
We have Old Forester single barrels. In case you guys aren't aware, almost all of the Old Forester single barrels are technically allocated bottles, right? You have their 1910s, you have their 1920s. All those Old Foresters, which are great, don't get me wrong, but these are like kind of the cream of the crop Old Foresters. Outside of the birthday bourbon, the President's Choice, these are kind of like your first tier Buffalo Choice bottles, but in Old Forester form. Yeah.
What do you think we should start with?
We've already done a review of this one. Do you want to just start a pour of
Just
this?
like a nice light one, because it's not too much. Yeah,
I mean, this one's obviously probably the hardest to find out of these all.
for sure. So yeah, that's the 1924 that came out about a year ago, I believe. That one goes for what,
120?
20?
Something like that, I think. Yeah. 110, 120. Secondary, 150, 160.
We both liked it.
Yes.
I don't know if I like it. I definitely don't like it more than like Michter's 10-year bourbon.
But surprisingly, cheers, this is one of Old Forester's only bottles that they put an age statement on.
I did not know that.
This one and the birthday bourbon, they'll put an age statement on depending on the year. Brown-Forman, in general, I don't know. For some reason, they're really weird about age statements. They don't really put them on their bottles. Yeah. So this one is their 10-year, 1924.
Wow. That's nice.
Yeah, always a great pour. Yeah.
We were doing some pours before this. We did Michter's Toasted Barrel, another delicious one, and then JT Mellick.
Yeah.
Is that how you say it?
JT Mellick.
Which is the only rice whiskey that I've ever had.
100%.
You could talk more about them, but where are they located?
Yeah, they're in Louisiana.
Louisiana.
Yeah.
And if you're looking to try something unique and different, I feel like JT Mellick is a good one.
Honestly, we should just do a podcast on craft distilleries next time.
That would be fun.
Unique craft distilleries. But yeah, they are based in Louisiana. 100% rice. They started off doing vodka first. They're actually on a crawfish farm. I could go on and on about them. But yeah, they're amazing. They're amazing.
I mean, that's a good one to clip for Instagram. We could always give them a little shout out in one of them.
Yeah. JT Mellick, 100% rice whiskey. First made vodka, crawfish farm, started doing whiskey, and their single barrels are bangers. They're 118 proof. Wow. They just came out of the 6-year. They're doing some great things. I really think in a couple of years they're going to be huge.
I'm excited to get to know who's the rep again. I'm sorry.
Mia. She's the daughter of technically the granddaughter, but she's in the family of JT Mellick.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So you said they're going to be back in Austin soon, so we're going to do
Hell
that.
We're doing a tasting with them.
And for our Austin people, or even if you're not in Austin, follow the Austin Whiskey Society, because you might be visiting Austin, or you might be from Houston, Dallas, another state, and we do meetups all the time. So that'll be fun for you to come join.
Free.
Yeah.
Anyone can join.
Like a lot of the reps for these liquor brands will come out because they just want to teach people about the brand, get more brand recognition. So it's an opportunity for us to try new brands, and it's an opportunity for them to kind of show off what they're doing.
Yeah.
So I think that's pretty cool. But yeah, today's subject, we're going to talk about the best ways to get allocated whiskey, which kind of ties into the last podcast, because I was saying that nobody pays MSRP.
Nobody.
But I think there's good ways to get allocated bottles. There's bad ways to get allocated bottles.
Yeah.
I think there's no wrong way to get allocated bottles.
Yeah.
But it's a little different for everybody. Let's just start off real quick with the absolute worst way. And I don't shame you if you have money and you don't care about it. But that's going to be to overpay.
Yeah, the most expensive way.
Because we just have to get that out of the way, right? So to overpay, for me, there's a lot of good websites. There's one, I think it's called Nestor.
Yeah,
that's one. Do you know any other?
Liquor Bar Delivery.
Delivery. So like some bottles are crazy overpriced, but you might find a Blanton's on there that might be like $130 for a Blanton. So
yeah, Old Weller Antique, maybe $120.
Okay.
So I mean, like Anthony said, I mean, you're overpaying, but if you have the money, we're not judging you. We would never do it. But if you have the money and you're cool overpaying a shit ton for these bottles, go for it.
And my example I always give for when it's worth it to do that is, how long have you been searching?
Mm-hmm.
You know, let's say you wanted a Weller Antique 107 and it's been 2 years.
Yeah.
Just pay the $50.
Yeah.
And I'm guilty of this, especially because I also run the ATX Drinker in Austin, Texas. I review bars and cocktails where I'll be like, see a bottle at the store. It's another $20. And then I go out with my girlfriend that night and I spend $100 on cocktails.
Yep.
And I'm like, I could have had that bottle for an extra $20.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. You go out and you spend a bunch of money. You're like, oh, wow. Or you go to a restaurant and you pay $40 for a pour, but then you realize, well, if I pay $40 for a pour, that's 25 pours. Like, how much are you actually paying for a bottle? Just get the bottle.
Just get the bottle.
You show up to that same bar and you buy like 5 or 6 pours. That's $200 right there.
Yep.
At that point, just get the bottle.
So you'll see that some people will shame you in the whiskey world because they think you're wrong for paying over for the whiskey, and I think that's crazy, especially for the people that have the money, because it's like it's not. I mean, would you say supply and demand a little bit, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Depending on how much is out there, the liquor store wants to make more money.
Exactly.
Because that's the other thing. Some of these liquor stores struggle, and they're like, okay, cool. How do I stay in business?
Yeah.
Well, this bottle is a really searched after bottle.
Yep.
I can mark it up by $50.
Yep.
They want to sell a shit ton of Budweiser and seltzers,
Yeah.
but sometimes if they're not getting the business, this is another avenue for them to make some money.
It's so hard to actually blame them. You know,
That's
it's
what
like,
I mean.
If someone is coming by and buying these bottles, would you actually sell a Pappy for $250 or would you sell it for $2,500 if someone's going to buy it either way? You know what I mean? In a sense, you can't really, in a sense, we're the ones to blame. We're the consumers that we constantly are. I mean, not like you and I specifically, but we are as consumers. We're the ones buying it. So if you continue to buy it, liquor stores are going to keep selling it at a high price.
I've heard that complaint a lot, is that like it's our fault.
I hate this. Like, yeah. I mean, yeah. I can see that. I know we want to talk about allocated bottles, but I do want to bring just a quick subject that's been hot and pressed off the news. I don't know if you saw in Ohio, there's a senator who loves bourbon. I think his name's Bill something, but he's tired of secondary market. He's tired of these people buying bottles and flipping them. So he's trying to pass a bill where liquor stores, when they sell, like, let's say I sell you this 1924, I'm cracking it right away before you leave the parking lot. How do you, I have my opinion on it. How do you feel about that?
I personally don't like it. I mean, I get trying to fix it a little bit, but on one end, I mean, I can see like the whiskey distilleries then just increasing the prices. I can see certain other things changing. Like people will find ways around it.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think that solves the problem, right? The problem is there's not enough 1924s. We're using this as an example, right? Let's say there's only 100 1924s. You crack it open in the parking lot. How's that going to change? That's not going to reproduce 3 more 1924s for me. And on the other hand, like most people aren't flippers, right? Would you say most people aren't flippers?
Most people aren't.
What if this is my bottle that I really wanted my dad to open on his 10-year anniversary because it's a 10-year-old bottle, and I got it, and it's 6 months till its 10-year anniversary, and they crack it right there. Like, isn't it cool to like crack a bottle? I feel like it's really special, right?
I agree.
You open it right in the liquor store, and then I'm like, hey, Dad, here's a bottle that I just opened already.
Yep, that might make some people not want to even buy it.
Exactly.
If they know that they're going to have to crack it open.
Yeah.
So that's a really good subject.
Yeah.
Yeah, the allocated game is crazy. And I guess I always got to remember that not everybody listening to this is extremely deep as a whiskey nerd or into the whiskey world. So just to explain what allocated bottles are. I'll give like a little bit of my thoughts and you tell them your thoughts. But, you know, when you go to the store, you're going to find your typical Jack Daniels, your Crown Royals. You're going to find Maker's Mark. But all of these whiskey distilleries will put out limited releases. Some of them might be like this one. This is their 1924 Old Forester. You can find a 1910 and a 1920 Old Forester, which I think is a fantastic bottle to buy for about $50. That's actually on one of my most recommended whiskey lists is the Old Forester 1920.
Yeah.
But they did this limited release, and it's a 10-year, and there's not that many. Some liquor stores only get 2 of them.
Yeah.
So they have 2 options. They can throw it on the shelf, and they can just go at the fair price, or they can put it on the back of like where you check out, and they can charge an extra $80 for it, which I see all the time, right? Like you see that for $200. So that's like my thoughts on allocated. There's special bottles. There's not that many of them, and they're hard to find. So that's why they go for these crazy prices. I mean, is there anything to add to that?
That's pretty much it. Yeah, they're just hard to find. And I mean, their distilleries are still mass producing them because you see them, but just compared to like the regular bottles, it's a lot less for sure. So you said one of the ways was just overpay.
That's first. Now let's jump into, I guess that's what, like some people would say the worst way. Once again, I just want to give my point that it's not terrible when, you know, you're paying slightly over or you have the money.
If you have the means, don't ever feel bad paying over.
Yep.
The second way, I mean, there's so many ways, but the second way, I don't know if this is the second one you're going to bring up, but is to develop relationships with liquor store owners.
I would say this is the best way
this is
to
the
get
best way.
allocated bottles.
Yeah. So by honestly, because like Anthony said, every liquor store does get allocated bottles. They have a certain amount, and some liquor stores don't want to mark up the price, so they actually don't put it out anywhere. But they do have allocated bottles, and the best way is just by getting to know the liquor store owner, developing a relationship. Showing back up. When you buy wine, instead of buying it from Total Wine, just buy it from him.
Yeah, making it an effort to go back to that same store. Like my girlfriend loves seltzer. She buys like 1 pack a week. So I got to remind myself, and I'm even guilty of it.
Yeah.
I'll be like, the store's right down the street.
Yeah.
No, I should have bought double the week before at that liquor store that I want to build a relationship with because they see you consistently.
Yep.
You're now giving that business more money. And then he's going to be more willing to say, hey, you got any special whiskeys in the back? And he'll pull it out for you.
Absolutely. And people might argue you're paying $1 to $2 more. Totally get it. Liquor stores don't have the means to charge the same amount as Total Wine, right? But remember, you're supporting a small business. You're supporting a family. But most of the time, you're supporting a family. And to me, paying $1 or $2 more is worth it in that case. And also, you might get a oil or antique every month, so that's also worth it too, right?
Exactly.
So I mean, it's kind of a win-win situation. You help them, and then they'll help you out as well too. I can tell you the couple of liquor stores owners that I know here. I'll stop by every now and then, get a 6-pack of beer, and then whenever I need something, I'll be like, hey, can I get an E.H. Taylor single barrel? Can I get something? And 9 times out of 10 say, we got you.
And I know it's hard for the introverted people out there.
It is, yeah.
Even me, sometimes I'm not in the mood to talk.
You're right.
But the store owners are tired of dealing with the same people coming in just asking questions. They like that. Yeah. They enjoy it when you just have a conversation with them.
Yeah.
Definitely talk with the store owner. Come out of your shell and it'll be worth it. Trust me.
You're right. It is hard. I would say if you're introverted, maybe just stop by and be like, hey, maybe just ask the liquor store owner a question. What bourbon do you recommend? Or just buy their store picks. And if you continually show up and you buy their store picks, they're going to recognize you. And you buying a store pick is directly supporting them, because you're telling them, I like your palate. I like the bourbon you picked. And I think as a store owner, they probably love that.
That's a great point. And store picks are just like a fun way to find different notes and whiskeys that you might have already tried. So like these are some store picks right here.
Yep.
And they're really fun. And then there's, like building relationships. I like to massage the store owner's shoulders.
Yeah, I do feet, but
yeah, you're really good at the feet. So it stinks because I'm stuck pleasuring him. But the great thing is I get an E.H. Taylor every week. So
are we still talking about the shoulders?
I want to keep it PG, but I get a lot of bottles. So just
I don't know why.
I don't know why, but I get a lot of good bottles.
Oh man. Okay, so we said buy them on secondary, which is on one end of the extreme. Developing relationships on the other end. What's kind of in the middle? What do you have?
One of my favorite ways recently, and you are the king of this. And I tell Jeremiah he needs to do this because he has a huge collection in New Jersey. Yeah. Great collection. Fantastic collection. I was trying to do my Trump voice. It's terrible. Is to trade in Facebook groups, to trade in other Reddit groups. It's actually funny because Facebook prohibits you from doing this.
It's illegal.
Yeah, to trade and sell. But it's completely fair and I love it. So what does it mean to actually trade? You're not just saying I got this bottle, I got this. What they do is they look at the secondary value of these bottles. So let's say right here we have the Old Forester 1924. This is about a $120 bottle. What would you say, 200?
160, 170, I think.
Okay, so
it's come down a little bit.
Okay, so let's just say 170. Then you can post, I have this for 170. They might say that, okay, there's a Blanton's bottle that you can get for 120. So we're $50 off. Somebody might say, great, I'll give you a Blanton's and $50 so I can get this bottle. Yeah. That's how a lot of the trade groups work.
Yep, for sure. And not even on Facebook or Instagram, and just in general, right? If you have a buddy, you're just like, hey, do you want to trade bottles? And you can, let's say you can get E.H. Taylor small batch very easily, right? But you can't get E.H. Taylor barrel proof. And then technically based off the trade value, if you get 4 E.H. Taylor small batches or 4 or 5, trade it for a barrel proof. So that's another way to do it as well too.
Yeah, exactly. I really love that way of doing it because even though it's all secondary prices or values, everybody's kind of trading what they already have. I mean, you're not doing it the wrong way. So one of my tips, since you're on our page, is, collect some of the bottles that you may not like, but you find at MSRP. So we just went to a bourbon drop at Total Wine, and I got a Blanton's Gold. I'm actually still tossed up if I'm going to open it or not.
I don't think you're happy with your pick.
I know.
You brought it up so many times, I got a Blanton's
Gold. You know what it is? And if I was in Jersey, where I'm originally from, I probably would open it and be so happy to have it. But the fact that I can go to Nickel City and get a pour for $17.
Yeah, you're I hear you.
And am I going to love it that much where I'm like, I cannot wait to dive back into this?
Right.
Whereas now I could take that Blanton's Gold for $200, $250 value.
I think it's like 225, 230.
225
Mm-hmm.
And I bought it for about $150, and I could flip that with another bottle for something special that I'm dying for. Like Four Roses does these releases called limited edition, and they're $300, $400. And I would rather trade a couple of Blanton's bottles for that, because that to me is one of the best bottles out there.
Yep. And then another way is to just join a rewards program. Total Wine.
This is a great subject.
Some local liquor stores do reward programs too, where you buy a certain amount, you get points, and then you can use those points to get allocated bottles. So find out what's in your area. Here at Total Wine, and that's why we went to that bourbon drop. You become a Grand Reserve member. You buy you spend a certain amount of money. You get on their list. You join their raffles. They have bourbon drops to let you know about it.
How much money do you think the Grand Reserve members had to spend?
Yeah, so technically it's $2,500 a year.
Oh, okay, that's not bad.
But there was a 10 times amount. I think I told you about this. Like a 10 times on the points if you buy wine.
So they'll do specials.
$250 a wine. Come on, that's like 2 months.
Easy.
Right? Yeah. So yeah, you spend $250 a wine, you're on the Grand Reserve. So anytime they have a drop, they let you know about it. Or anytime they have a raffle, that's how I got the birthday bourbon. You're on the raffle.
Yeah, a lot of these liquor stores will do raffles where maybe you buy like one of their single barrels and then you get a ticket. There's other ways that you can just give $10 to them and you enter the raffle.
Yep, exactly.
And entering raffles is a great way. Old Forester for their birthday bourbon, you can enter a raffle just by signing up online and just entering.
Yep.
The downfall though is you have to pick it up from the distillery, but that's an excuse to go to the distillery. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
So real quick, Old Forester 1924. What do you say? $120. Do you think it's worth $120?
It's a buy for me. Yeah.
Yeah, if I saw it on the shelf, I would buy one too.
Yeah, it's great.
It's not one of my favorite whiskeys in the world. No. I mean, it's kind of hard to say that. That's not even a fair judgment. But yeah, if you're a whiskey collector and you're somebody that likes to have 20, 30, 40 bottles on your bar cart, I would say
it's a special bottle. And it's honestly, it's really good. I mean, I get nuttiness on it, a little bit of cinnamon. I get a little bit of like caramel on it. It's a solid pour.
Yep.
I really enjoy it.
I'm ready to jump into the next one.
Yeah, why don't you jump in? I'll finish this one off, and then which one do you want to jump into? Single barrel?
Will you tell me what you think is best to transition to? Ooh. I'm most excited for this one.
Yeah, if we're doing proof, I mean, we should technically proof up. Yeah, we should proof up. This is 100 and 100. So this is a Total Wine single barrel 100 proof pick.
And do you know why like this one's blue and that one's black?
I don't actually. I don't know what the color kind of is.
Maybe they changed it. Now the green one I would say is pretty allocated.
Yeah, I mean technically these two are allocated.
Okay.
This one's a store pick.
I see there's a lot.
Yeah, they're easier to find, but these two are technically allocated.
Okay.
And so is that one too, actually. All the ones we have here are allocated.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, well let's try it. Or I'll just pour it. So
I gotta give a shout out though to Barbells and Bourbon. I posted on Instagram another way to get bottles by developing relationships with friends and people outside of liquor stores is I posted on Instagram some bottles that I wanted to get before the end of the year. And I posted Old Forester single barrel, 100 proof. I was like, I would love to get this one. This guy messaged me and said, hey, I have an extra bottle. I said, great, I'll buy it for you from MSRP. He said, no, I'm just going to send it to you for free. Just pay for shipping. So Barbells and Bourbon send this to me for free. So shout out to him. Yeah.
That's awesome.
All right,
no, that's a big thing is like building the relationships, not even just store owners, but with other people online.
I mean, think about how many pours I've gotten because I've known you, and then how many bottles I hooked you up because you know me. Like
exactly. That's such a great point. And because he knows me, we're going to go do. I don't think I say this yet. Oh my God. You can see this on the vlog. We're going to do a BTAC release from 2024 at Nickel City in Austin, Texas. The owner hit me up. He's like, if you want to announce that we now have this at the place, you guys can just come and try them, which is. I'm still grateful for that relationship.
It's insane. Yeah, I mean, Nickel City and Murray's and just Trevor in general are just insane.
So Jeremiah, I love you. If you were here, you know you'd be there.
Sorry,
but also I can't go by myself. I had to bring somebody. But Jeremiah was at the first one, which we did.
He was, and I saw that before I knew, and I was like,
yeah,
who are these people, and how are they doing this?
Which that one we did the double eagle, very rare.
Yeah.
We did the Weller.
You did the
what's that one?
Daniel Weller.
Daniel Weller,
right? Yeah.
I think that was like our favorite too.
Yeah. Really.
And the double eagle, but because we tried Pappy 23, Pappy 20.
See, that's what we have to do tomorrow. We have to slow down and just sit there and enjoy it because I think I'm gonna get caught up in the hype. It's gonna be like, like we gotta like just sit down and be like, okay, we're gonna sip this for like 10 minutes and just like take our time.
That's what my goal is. I almost went less because when we went with Jeremiah, they gave us 10 different allocated special bottles.
Yeah, I mean, like at that point.
And then the bartender just kept pouring.
You're drunk by the fifth one. And
you're drunk, your palate's torn.
Yeah.
This one, I think, what is it, 5 or 6? what is the BTAC? So tell them.
Yeah.
Once again, we said this on the last episode of the pod, but they're like Buffalo Trace's most special releases besides Pappy.
BTAC, we call it BTAC. BTAC stands for Buffalo Trace Antique Collection. They are the cream of the crop. Like if your shells are this high, they'd be at the top of them. I'm sure you guys have all seen pictures of them. They're like the most special bottles. There's 5 of them. There's Sazerac 18, Thomas H. Handy, William LaRue Weller, Eagle 17, and then George T. Stagg. Those are the 5. Which one are you most excited to try tomorrow?
Eagle 17.
I know that's yours too. That's mine too. But now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like that, I've heard everyone say that 2024 George T. Stagg is already in the running for like Port of the Year.
Wow.
Yeah.
My only problem with George T. Stagg that I will say is it's pretty damn high proof.
It is. It's hot.
And sometimes you sip it, you're like, whoo.
Depends on the year. I don't know what the proof is this year.
Okay.
But the one that we tried was 135. That's why.
Okay.
So I don't know what year this one is. But yeah, I'm sure it was a 15 year this year. I actually don't know anything about the 2024 one, so I have to do some reading before we do the tasting.
Cool.
But yeah, I can't.
Yeah,
wait.
So that's going to be in 2 days. We'll be posting a reel about that, a vlog about that, so you guys can check that out on the YouTube channel. Definitely hit the subscribe button. You don't know how much that helps us by hitting the subscribe button. I know everybody says that on YouTube, but it's just a little thing that you could do if you're enjoying this.
Honestly, when I first started getting into whiskey, my go-to was watching podcasts, watching people do this, because this is how you find out about, like, you can read about it all, but it's just so much cooler hearing people talk about it. And then you learn so much more about bottles and things like that. So yeah, please give them a follow, give them a subscribe. Send us a comment, leave a comment about what you guys want to see.
That helps big time too.
Yeah.
Also love chatting with people. It's interesting. One thing about me, just to like let people know, you probably know us from Instagram, but I'm a very motivated person. So like when I get into it, I really enjoy doing this. But that's how we were able to grow. So we're big on Instagram. We have 49,000 followers.
Nuts.
TikTok, we're about to hit 100,000 followers. I fell in love with this as a hobby. And then some things started changing where we were able to make some money on the side. We were able to get some special pours. So I do it for the love of it. But once I see that other stuff coming, I'm like, oh, I'm going to grind at it.
Yeah.
And that's how it is now with YouTube. This is like my first time diving into YouTube. I'm like, oh, I'll figure this out.
Yeah.
Like we're going to keep posting. We're going to keep editing.
Yeah.
So I'm just really enjoying to be on YouTube.
Yeah, we got some cool spots we really want to start filming all around Austin to highlight not only Austin bars, Austin scenery, but then at the same time, drink whiskey and talk whiskey too. So we're really excited about that.
Yep.
Yeah.
So my next subject I want to talk about, can you think of any more ways of getting allocated bottles that we missed on?
Get freaking lucky. Hunt your ass off.
Oh, hunt. Just hunt.
Every single liquor store, and I guarantee you go to 20 liquor stores, you'll go into one of them where the owner has no idea that this is supposed to cost, whatever he wants to mark up, and it's selling for $110. So yeah, just get lucky, hunt, go to small cities. I would avoid big cities, right? Go to small cities. Wherever you live, and you'll find something.
Yeah,
that's probably the last way.
And same thing with dive bars. You get a chance to try some special whiskeys. Like I found this place called Nickel City. Still Austin. I'm like, yeah, Still Austin has great pours. Yeah. Nickel City. A lot of people go to a place called Kinfolk. Love Kinfolk in Austin, Texas. But it's like this old vintage library of whiskeys that you can find, and they're definitely a little overpriced.
Yeah, right.
Because they were able to go out and collect these special bottles. Nickel City. I remember at one point they had Elmer T. Lee for $8 a pour.
Yeah, and I think it's now it's $12.
It was like 12.
Like, come on.
Yeah. So that's a place that you can go where, like, you're still gonna have to pay for some of the special bottles, but the prices aren't that bad. I remember they had the Four Roses limited edition, $23 a pour.
Baby Stag, $18. Like, come on. That's 2 beers when you go out, right? Versus an ounce pour of a really nice whiskey. That's worth it.
So yeah, definitely find some good dive bars. Be willing to try things out. But I think these are all good ways for you to get allocated bottles. Yeah. So the next thing I want to talk about is, now that we've been both searching in the whiskey game, I've been doing it for 4 years now. I don't hunt as strong as Jeremiah and Andrew. And Andrew's been doing it for a little over a year now. What are some bottles that you think were worth the hunt? They're allocated. They're hard to get. You finally got them, and you're like, yes, this was great.
This was worth it.
I loved it. Versus, what are a couple bottles that you got, and you're like,
what the hell?
And I got mine kind of ready, so.
You say yours then. I got to think of mine a little bit.
Let's start with the sucky ones.
Yes.
I think it's better to go positive.
I got some sucky ones.
Okay.
Yeah, I got some sucky. You go ahead.
So some bottles that I think are worth the allocated hunt searching for. One that blew me away is Blanton Straight from the Barrel.
Yes, agreed.
I finally got that bottle from doing a trade. I had to collect a couple different bottles. I traded with somebody. I got it. It truly is like, once you have Blantons and then you have Straight from the Barrel, it tastes 10 times as good in my opinion.
Yeah.
And it's only a double the cost, I guess, on the MSRP level.
Yeah.
it is Blanton's on steroids. It's butterscotch, caramel. It's like dessert in a glass. So much proof. You can sip it slower. You can have that bottle for a long time and enjoy it. And like I said, I'm not going to always promote spending more on the secondary market, but for $250, I'm pretty sure you can buy a bottle online right now. So sure, go chase $100 bottles of Blanton's and then get another $100, or just spend $250. You can have a bottle that is higher proof that you can sit with for a long time and impress your friends when they come over. I love Blanton's straight from the barrel.
Yeah, you're agreed. I mean, Blanton's single barrel gets a bad rep, right? People make fun of it. Like, you're a tater. But you talk to those same people that make fun of Blanton's single barrel, and you bring up straight from the barrel, I guarantee you they will not make fun of straight from the barrel. Every whiskey enthusiast knows straight from the barrel is actually the real deal. You know, they think about making Blanton's as a BTAC at one point.
Whoa.
Because that's how good it would have been. And it would have been a straight from the barrel Blanton's, but aged for longer. I mean,
could see that.
Like a freaking Blanton's BTAC.
It makes sense.
Oh, yeah, it definitely makes sense. Yeah.
And once again, I always want to remember this, but if you are newer to whiskey, straight from the barrel means that they're pulling it right out of the barrel. Most whiskeys, like Blanton's, they'll add water either after the whiskey's ready or through the aging process. So it's watered down. It's a lower proof. Now, that doesn't always mean the whiskey's better, but most of the time it kind of does. You'll just notice you get more flavors, more complexity, and Blanton straight from the barrel is one of those examples that happens.
Okay. Another bottle that's worth the hunt, Jack Daniel's 10 or Jack Daniel's 12. We got a lot of hate for this. People saw us liking Jack Daniel's. They thought we were idiots. You're wrong. Regular Jack Daniel's 7, I'll buy that. You have not had real Jack Daniel's until you've had Jack Daniel's 10 year or Jack Daniel's 12 year. It will blow your freaking mind. You agree with me, right?
Yeah, I totally agree with you.
To me, it's a banana bomb. And you never thought you would like banana notes in a whiskey, but try Jack Daniel's 10 or 12 and then come back to me and let me know what you think.
Actually, I would say, because this is like my go-to guy for helping me get bottles. And I try to return the favor as much as I can to bring you to special events. Even though, as friends, like that's not a requirement with us. I really don't believe so. It's just now, I'm like, cool. Let's.
Sometimes he returns the favors with massages too.
Yeah, exactly.
Not necessarily
I prefer the massages. Yeah. But my list is changing. So I actually told him, it's like, what's 5 bottles I want to get? And I'm keeping it realistic. I wasn't like, yeah, get me an Eagle 17, a William LaRue Weller.
Pappy 23.
That's crazy. Yeah, there's no way you can get that. But I told him I wanted the Four Roses limited edition. And I told him I wanted the Michter's toasted, sour mash toasted. And somehow in like a week and a half.
Show the people?
Oh, yeah.
Should show the people.
Because I'm picking it up too while we're here.
Yeah, show the people what you got.
I mean, I've never been this excited. Dude, I've been wanting to get this bottle.
That's a beautiful bottle. And it's just so delicious. It's so good.
Since I started this game, man.
Yeah. So you said yours is straight from the barrel. Mine is Jack Daniel's 10 or 12, huh?
Yeah. Oh, so sorry. So that's what I was going to say. So I gave him my 5 bottles, or a couple of them. And on that list was the Four Roses limited edition. On that list was also the toasted sour mash from Michter's. In like a week and a half, he texted me. He was like, all right, I found them in a market. I can get those bought for you. And they were slightly over. I mean, like, this one was like $50 more for the Four Roses limited.
Like what, $40-$50 more as well? Too,
yeah.
maybe.
Which to me, I'm like, I don't have to use gas money to travel. I don't have to do all
I
this
mean,
stuff.
watch our previous podcast. We talk all about whether or not it's worth paying MSRP, how no one does. But yeah.
Huge conversation right there.
Yeah.
So now that my list is changing, because now they're out of the list.
I can't keep doing this. If Pappy's on the list, I got nothing.
Andrew, I'm ready for more.
You want a Pappy 23?
No, I think this is easy, actually. I think I need to get myself a full bottle of Jack 10 and Jack 12.
Oh, you don't have those?
Mm-mm.
Oh, yeah, that's easy.
Jack was nice enough to send me samples.
Yeah. You always
still have them.
Yeah. No, that's easy. That is easy.
So that's what I mean. I'm making it reasonable, but I do want to get those.
And I can get those very close to MSRP for you. I think MSRP is like 80 on the Jack 10 and I think 90 on the Jack 12. I probably get the Jack 10
if you see those, like I want them.
Yeah.
Okay. You don't even have to ask me.
Wait like a week or two because you just spent like 15 grand. You just spent so much. Kelsey's like, honey, how come we're outside of our apartment now? You're like, don't worry about it, babe.
And then she's like asking me for things that are important. Yeah. And I'm like, well, do we really need toilet paper?
Are we eating bread again for the 5th day in a row?
And I'm just drunk. I got my whiskey. So I spent $1,200. But it was a rare situation where I got so many bottles for MSRP, multiple E.H. Taylors, the Four Roses, multiple Michter's allocated bottles. So I really don't do this. Like, if you ask me for the whole year, I don't even spend over like $2,000.
It's allocation season, baby.
It's allocation season.
Yeah.
So what are we getting into next? So we did ones that should we do another one that we think is worth it?
Yeah. Do you have another one? I probably can think of a couple that I've been chasing that was worth it.
Let me think off the top of my head. Okay. My next one, I hate you. I'm going to put you on the spot.
Yeah.
You can't throw out another Buffalo Trace if I'm going to throw out another Buffalo Trace.
Yeah, I'll throw another one.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll do another one.
A bottle of the Wellers. Everybody wants Wellers.
Yeah.
I think the foolproof,
100%.
that's worth the chase.
Yes.
It's worth overpaying for.
Yes.
It's worth, driving around the city.
Yes.
Weller foolproof. I continue to try the other Wellers that are out there. The Antique, which is my second favorite, but the single barrel, the CYPB, and Weller Reserve is trash, in my opinion. I know other people like it. I don't like it. But the Weller foolproof, even if it's not a single barrel, I still think it's delicious.
Yeah.
MSRP 60.
Technically, it's 50, dude. I don't know if they raised it, but technically, isn't that crazy? Technically, it's 50.
That might be the greatest $50 bottle of whiskey I've ever had.
Actually, yeah, we could. That should be our next topic. The cheapest but the best bottle ever.
Yeah.
Bottle. Yeah, you're right. That might be up there.
Okay.
Yes,
So that's the blue
$49.99,
one.
which is freaking crazy. Yeah, I don't know if they raised the price.
Holy crap, dude.
Yeah. All right, so I can't say Buffalo Trace. That's easy. All right, the best allocated bottle that was worth the chase, Maker's Mark Cellar Aged. We got this at the distillery. We got the 2024 one. I would have been happy with the 2023 one. A mix of a 14-year and a 13-year, I think. Or a 13-year and a 12-year.
Wow.
Freaking almond bar bomb.
Yep.
Just amazing. Everything about this whiskey is it's just a party in your mouth. You agree with me, right?
Tastes like Almond Joy.
Almond Joy, sorry, not almond bar, almond joy. Yeah,
Which I'm laughing because
I forgot the
it took me like 20 times. I've shot like videos about it. I always forget what the thing is, but it's like you get coconut, you get a little nightness, and you get a little milk chocolate.
Honestly, literally, you drink that, it feels like you're eating an almond joy. It really does.
Yeah.
It really does. It's phenomenal. MSRP is $175. That's what we paid at the distillery. I think on the secondary price, it goes for maybe $325, $350. It's pricey. It's pricey. Would you pay $350 for it? It's hard,
No.
right? Right. I know.
But this is where like that scale goes. It's like, what are the chances you can get it? Now, if you said it's impossible, it's like if somebody said right now, could I get like a William Lover Weller? How much does that go for MSRP? 175?
175 MSRP.
Yeah, so there we go. Same price as a cellar aged.
Yeah.
So then I would say yes to 350.
Right.
Because that would be like a rare case. But I know cellar aged, if I work hard enough, I could probably get it.
Exactly. It's not one of those unicorn bottles that are impossible to find like William LaRue. It's possible. And it's worth the chase. It's worth the chase.
That's a great one.
So what bottles, just to recap, our 4 bottles that we think is worth the chase means that you spend all this time chasing and you loved it. Mine was Jack Daniel's 10 or 12 and also Maker's Mark Cellar Aged.
For me, that I think are worth chasing on the secondary market. For me, a bottle that I think is allocated that's worth the chase is going to be Weller Foolproof, as well as the Blanton Straight from the Barrel. Those 2 bottles are definitely worth it, as well as I agree with his too.
All right, now let's do the flip end. Bottles that we don't think are worth the chase.
And I think we should keep it. We tried it, so we know. I was going to say like we actually bought it, but I think if you tried it at a store,
I actually bought this one at MSRP because I got lucky, but I traded it.
Okay.
But do you have any that you think are going to go?
Yeah, I'm going to bounce off the Weller because the Wellers are so chase after,
Yeah.
And I've changed my opinion every time I keep trying it. The more I'm less impressed, and that's going to be the Weller 12-year.
Yeah.
I had it at a bar the first time, and I'm like, damn it, it was $12 a pour. I'm like, this is awesome. I tried it again, and then all I got was like oak.
Dude,
it's like dry. It's not complex at all. It's really not an impressive bottle. And yeah, maybe if you can get it for $50, $60, sure.
Yeah.
Was it 40?
No, I think technically it's 50, 60. I think you're right.
Yeah, so I'd take Weller Foolproof all day over that.
Yeah. I'm not disagreeing with them just to agree with them. I promise you, but I agree with you.
I think we're on the same page with
Weller 12 is just, and technically, rumors, Pappy 12 is Weller 12. I don't know if you knew this. It's like a Weller 12, but the family picks when they want to become Pappy 12. It's like the best of the Weller 12s. Wow. Which is crazy because I love Pappy 12. But Weller 12, every time I have it, I'm just like, man.
It's not impressive.
Are you going to pay $120 for it on secondary, $130?
No.
I don't think so.
No.
I'm like,
I'd rather the 1924 all day.
I agree.
And that's a 10-year.
Yep.
Oh, before you go to yours, let's jump into another one.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Because I know we can keep talking.
This one's we're getting hot, though. This is 132 proof. 129.8. You want to crack this one while I talk?
Should we skip this one?
Yeah, why don't we skip that for now?
Yeah, because we still have this.
Yeah. We're
so just to let you guys know, this is one of my allocated bottles that, like, if you ever saw, I would love to get.
Okay. Yeah.
But it's Single Barrel Rye by Old Forester.
So just a story of how I got this bottle. We were talking about how to get allocated bottles. Total Wine Worker knows me because I used to go to Total Wine a lot. And I stopped by one day and he said, hey, we have Old Forester single barrels in the back. I'm going to bring out one case. Wait right here.
Oh,
he brought it out, and that's
what the heck?
Yeah, exactly.
See, that's one of those examples of just right timing, and obviously he knows you.
Yep.
But
shout out to Pablo Total Wine Mueller.
And shout out to you for letting us crack this, dude.
Of course, man. All right, speaking of overrated bottles and Old Forester, one of the most overrated bottles, ones that I don't think is worth chasing. Old Forester birthday bourbon.
Whoa.
I know. I'm going to be ruffling many feathers by saying this, but in my opinion, they're low proof. It's 10 years at most, and you're paying about $200. And I've had it before. It tastes watered down to me. There's not much complexity to it. It's a cool ass bottle, but man, there's so many other 10-year bottles I would spend $200 on.
I'm going to argue because I think it's right for me to argue,
yeah.
Even though I kind of get what he's saying. But Old Forester birthday bourbon is such a unicorn to me. It's so hard to get for me that I want it. And also, I think it's one of the best bottle designs. Some people might say it's basic, but it's one of the coolest bottle designs that you can get out there. Yeah. I have tasted it. It's very tasty. It's not something that's going to knock your socks off.
Yeah.
But I think it's tasty. Yeah.
Right.
It's not super complex, but it's tasty. It's one of those ones. It's like El Martini we just had the other day. And I was like, oh, man, this is overhyped.
It's good.
Because I see that for $200.
Yeah.
But when I was having that, I was like, but it's not a bad whiskey. It's just overhyped.
Yeah.
So, if I had a chance to get birthday bourbon for $200, I'd take my money right now.
Yeah. I probably would too. And then I'd trade on the second. And then I would trade it.
But you wouldn't open it.
I traded it for a GT Stag.
Okay.
So, it's just... To me, that was worth a trade. I would do that 100 times out of 100 times.
Gotcha.
Old Forester birthday bourbon. Yeah, don't get me wrong. It's a good pour. I think my issue was I went into it hearing from everyone, it's the GOAT of Old Forester. And I was like, oh my God, I cannot wait. And I tasted them and I was like, yeah, that's good.
Wow.
But
how many times have you tried it?
Twice. 2024.
Different ones?
2022. Yeah.
Okay.
2022 one was pretty damn good. The 2024 one? Oh, no, man. Doesn't do it for me. Yeah. Do you remember what year you had?
I don't. Yeah. And I'm really bad with that, man.
Well, there's so many years.
I got to get better. Like we were talking about the LEs. I've heard that where people will rank the LEs. They'll be like 17 and then that's number one. And
I think there's something that said that you drink so many that it's hard for you to keep track of.
That's exactly it.
Oh.
Dude, it's insane.
Yeah.
Let's throw out some hot topics. So I think that's, do we want to do 2 more?
Let's see. So we said the most overrated bottles, the ones that aren't worth chasing. I said Old Forester birthday bourbon. You said...
Weller 12-year, I think, is overrated and not worth chasing.
I think of a couple more if you want to throw them out.
Yeah, let's dive into this. Should we?
Yeah, let's dive into this.
I want to throw out a subject before we do that.
Sure.
Do you think that whiskey needs to be aerated? Do you think that it needs to let the air hit it to get better? Do you think that's necessary?
Yeah, I don't think it's necessary. I think it's dependent whiskey to whiskey. I don't think aeration makes every whiskey better. I think it changes the flavor. And if you appreciate that flavor it changes to, then it makes it better for you. But if it changes the flavor for me, I don't like it, then I don't think. But I do think aeration changes it. I do think if you leave whiskey out for 30 minutes, 20 minutes, I definitely think it changes it. It's science, right?
I do too.
Yeah.
I think I agree. There's been some that you crack, taste good right away.
Mm-hmm. Keep
drinking it, tastes the same. There's been another 50-40% that I opened, I didn't like them. And then they got halfway down, and I thought they were one of the best whiskeys I've ever had.
Yeah.
So sometimes I think it is required to aerate. Is that how they use wine, right?
Yeah.
Aerate.
Yeah.
Whiskey bottles, it makes a difference. Like even this one, I kind of wanted to let it just sit for a second.
Mm-hmm.
I did just try it, and it's a little hot. It burnt me for a second.
Yeah, it's hot.
Dude, it's so tasty.
It's very tasty. Right.
You got that too?
It's very tasty. It's for a rye. If you're not a rye drinker, this is phenomenal.
It's coming off of this.
Yeah.
No disrespect to this. I was like, oh, this is good.
It's good.
This one, you're like, oh, this is a different level.
You can definitely tell. You can definitely tell the tier difference.
Yeah.
Complexity, taste,
Holy
everything to it.
Crap, dude.
You know what we should do next time? Before we do a podcast, pour something, leave it there, and start off with that pour, and then at the end of our podcast, go to that one that we poured and see if we really see a difference. I'm curious.
That reminds me of a really good video that I think can go viral on Instagram, and people have done this with other stuff. You ever see it where they put a box and they'll put the straws through things?
Yeah, and they like.
We got to do that with whiskey.
We should do that actually. We just go down the line.
And we'll make it crazy. Like we'll do one that's Fireball.
We should.
So that's obvious. Like
we should do different tiers and then do like honestly, I'll pour some on VTAC.
Yeah.
Let's see if we even know. And like Kelsey or Christine can set it up for us.
We could do multiple videos with that.
That's actually a great idea because there's nothing more humbling than a blind.
Oh my god.
There's nothing because I mean you're you get changed. Like everything gets altered, right? Like I know I'm drinking a nice bottle here, so my brain's telling my esophagus, my stomach, all my nerves, this is a good bottle. So coming in, I'm not going to be like, this is a good bottle. This is good. This sucks. But to start completely blind, we should do more blinds.
We should. Yeah,
Let's blind the B-Tex on Wednesday. I'm kidding,
it would be so funny.
That would be cool, huh?
But I need to know.
No,
we do something like that.
Yeah,
we
we
need to
can't.
know.
No, we can't. Yeah.
But yeah, that would be really funny.
Yeah.
And then I think sometimes they fake it. Like I saw one where they did like Diet Coke.
Uh-huh.
They did Diet Coke in every other type of way you can put it.
Uh-huh.
So one was out of the can, one was out of a bottle, one was out of a McDonald's like cup. And they were guessing. They're like, oh, that's definitely from McDonald's.
Really? That's actually, we should do that.
Because I've heard that McDonald's makes like the freshest soda. And I'm like, I don't know if that's true, but
that's awesome. So what we should do is we should find the same mash bill from Buffalo Trace product and do like 5 of them. Because you know how the same mash bills like blends, East, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we should do that and then
my thinking for like the first couple though, we have to make them very different.
Yeah.
It's almost like starting at beginner level.
Sure. Like an awful one. Like like a benchmark, an allocated bottle, and then a high tier.
Yes.
One. And then see how close we are.
And this is what I've noticed a lot of people that do blind tastings with whiskey. A lot of times they can guess the better one, but I'll tell you why. It's not because they actually know. It's because they can tell what's higher proof.
Sure. So we can try to keep the proof.
That's
similar.
the secret.
Yes.
So find bottles that are like all 90 proof or whatever.
Yeah.
And then like Michter's 10 is one of them.
Yeah, because if we do like 135, 80, that 90 proof,
they just go, that one's the better
You'll have
one.
the 135, you'll be like, that one, yeah.
They just say it because it's higher proof.
Yeah.
And a lot of whiskey snobs will say that. They're like, oh, we gotta punch this up. But
yeah.
There's a couple out there. That'd be a fun one. What's the best whiskey that's, 40 alcohol percentage?
Michter's probably. Something Michter's.
Something like
it's gonna be something Michter's, right?
Yeah.
Or like a Buffalo Trace Eagle Rare or something like that. But yeah, we should definitely, the sky's the limit if we do that.
So let's do a little review. Let's see here.
Old Forester
single barrel rye. Actually, you say it because you're next to the mic.
Old Forester single barrel rye. I don't know why I said it like that.
So we're gonna do a little whiskey review live because this will be one of the ones we can clip and put on TikTok and Instagram.
So again, I'm being influenced, but I can tell it's a rye. I can.
Yeah, it's definitely a rye. But
some spice to it, and I get really like cranberries on it. What do you get?
I can see that.
Even when I nose it, it burns my nose.
There's like a little syrupiness with a little bit of the spice with the rye spice. That's why I think I like it. I like ryes that are a little sweet.
Yeah.
I don't like. Yeah. I just had a Midwinter's Night Dram, the 2024, and I didn't like it because it was straight rye. And wait, there's rye, right?
It's finished in port barrels.
Port barrels, but I think there's rye in it.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it is. I don't know much about Midwinters because I don't like it, but it's finished in port barrels. That's all I know.
Okay. Well, I guess point being, a lot of ryes can be very dry and can have a lot of spice notes, but I want a little bit of both. So you get the rye spice and you get the sweetness.
Yep.
And like we said, like a little cranberry.
Cranberry on that. Yeah, that's all I can smell now.
Yeah, it's almost a little bit of graham cracker on there. Like I was like when you think the pie or like pie crust.
Damn it! That's all I smell now is graham cracker. No, actually, that smells like one of those graham cracker like things that you put between s'mores.
Yeah,
graham cracker cookies, right?
Literally so that's why I was like, when you said the pie, I was thinking like almost a cherry pie, but
you do.
I'm not going to say exactly. I'm almost going to say cranberry pie.
It's a phenomenal nose. It is.
The nose is great.
Yeah, I can see why these bottles are so sought after because it's freaking good.
My only complaint about it is I will say that alcohol is no joke. You do get a little bit of that. Was that ethanol?
Yeah.
It's like 20% ethanol.
It burns.
Yeah, it's not. It's not coming through like as easy.
That's good though. That is solid. I'm glad we didn't start with that.
That it wouldn't make any sense. I almost wish there was like something in between.
Yeah, because it went from 100 to 129.
Yep. So out of the ryes, I will say this is an in the moment reaction, but for the Old Forester single barrel rye, I would say that this is in the top 10 ryes I've tried.
Ooh, I agree with you. There's no debate there. Hey, what are and I can go first. What are your top 2024 ryes you've had? You might have to think about this for a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. Easy on the first one. It's Michter's Rye 10-year.
Okay. I'm going to bounce off.
Yeah.
I'm going to say Parker's Heritage Rye.
Ooh, I haven't tried that.
It's phenomenal. Any more?
Jack
Daniels single barrel proof rye.
Oh, I got a bottle of that. I'm like halfway through it.
Depending on which store pick, but I mean, can't go wrong with any of those.
I don't have all the ryes off the top of my head. I'm trying to think I'm blanking on some of the special ones.
I got another one.
Okay.
Thomas H. Handy. I had the 2023.
See, you got to try some good ryes.
I know. So what else?
So say that again. So your 3 ryes that you just mentioned that you really love.
So my top 2024 ryes are going to be this Old Forester single barrel rye, Parker's Heritage 10-year rye, Jack Daniel's single barrel proof rye, Thomas H. Handy rye, and then one more. What else?
I mean, did you try the Michter's 10-year rye?
Are you
going to put that in there too?
Yeah. Actually, you know what? Michter's barrel strength. I think I like more than 10-year rye.
I don't.
I know you like 10-year. I know.
So I would even say most people love Michter's barrel strength rye.
I love that.
My only complaint is I get a little bit of piney notes.
Oh, you do,
and I don't like that. It almost reminds me of a Christmas tree.
I don't get it, but I hate piney notes.
Okay,
yeah, I don't get that though. Yeah.
So that's my only complaint. I love everything else in it, and I finished a bottle. But the Michter's 10-year rye, that's another one. A lot of balance.
Yeah.
You do get those rye spices, lemon zest, orange. But then, it finishes off with the sweetness that I love.
I can agree with that. All right, so we'll bounce back and forth. And all right, so actually, I can just say them all unless you want to say them. Our top 5 ryes. I'll just reiterate all of them.
Yeah, So I would say, we just are talking about our favorite ryes. But these are our top 5 favorite ryes that we got to try of 2024.
Number 1, Michter's 10 rye. Number 2, Old Forester single barrel rye. Number 3, Thomas H. Handy. Number 4, Parker's Heritage rye, and number 5, Jack Daniel's single barrel proof rye.
I love that.
That's a goat.
That's
list.
An awesome list.
I'm curious. Whatever. I mean, I'm sure there's amazing other ryes out there, but
I was thinking that. So I've been clipping like a lot of these and putting them on TikTok and Instagram. It's just easy to put out for some extra content. But some of the ones where you make bold statements like that, I might send that to you for you to post.
Yeah.
I think that's a good list.
I'll probably get hate for it. They'll be like, that's all tater bottles.
I'm like, and then I comment. I'm like, that's why I sent it to him to post because it's a stupid list.
What an idiot.
You're like, bro, you told me it was good in person.
1,000 less followers next day. I mean, honestly, even if you're a whiskey snob, you can't argue with any of those.
Yeah.
I would offer the Thomas H. Handy, but we would drink a shit ton. We're going to drink Thomas H. Handy.
No, we don't need more.
Too.
Yeah. This is more than enough. Yeah. So yeah, man. I'm trying to think what else.
What else are we talking about?
Because we were talking. I was just trying to think if there's any more that I don't think are worth the chase. But I'm trying to think from experience. Oh, I'll give you one. And I'm sorry, Rabbit Hole's going to hate me. Hopefully this doesn't get out. But Rabbit Hole does a single barrel release. They are gorgeous. They do this. What is it? Alice in Wonderland design.
Oh, I've seen that before.
It's the coolest design bottles.
Cool. Yeah.
But they did. It was like a finished. I don't think it was in a port, but it was finished in something else. It's like $200, maybe $189.99.
Yeah.
And we poured it, and I was like, "Oh, it's okay."
But you don't have to and I think that's one thing that I'm sure you struggle with more because I'm not a content creator. But even if let's say 15 Star just sent me a bottle, I think they sent you the same bottle. I haven't cracked it yet, but if I crack it and I don't like it, what do? You can answer this, but for me, it's you almost feel obligated to have to say, oh, this is great, but let's be honest, not everything is great. I mean, everything's great, but it might not be for you.
Yep.
Right? So what do you do?
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah.
That's what makes it beautiful about having friends that are into whiskey because, he told me that he doesn't love Elijah Craig 18 years. So I said, you know what, dude, I might actually buy that bottle from you.
Yeah.
So there's ways of, working with others on getting rid of the bottles you don't like or communication. I have another. Do you want to give one that you think is not worth the chase?
I think we kind of came up with a good amount. I mean, I could probably keep a lot of Heaven Hill stuff. I don't think is worth the chase. But yeah.
Whoa! Wait, what about the grain? What about the grain to glass?
Mixed feelings because it used to be allocated and now it's not allocated anymore. You can literally get it on every shelf now.
So you're more mad because now that you got it and everybody else could get it.
I chased the shit out of it. Now everyone has it. I don't want it anymore. No, I'm kidding. No, I mean, it's 110?
Yeah.
$110?
Because I actually saw it at Total Wine and I was like, I'm
see?
good.
Now it's everywhere now. But if you told me you couldn't get it and then you offered me now,
I would have been like,
I want it. No, I'm kidding. Honestly, in a vacuum, I think the rye is great. I think the wheated bourbon's pretty good. The bourbon, it's not bad. $110, a little bit much for me.
Okay.
Yeah, a little bit much.
So let's finish the podcast off with some recommendations. Christmas is coming up. This will probably come out closer to Christmas. And I thought about this because you can't just recommend a whiskey to anybody. You have to have a reason. Mm-hmm. So let's say you're going to buy a gift for someone who is not into whiskey at all. They like whiskey.
Okay.
but they're just a dive bar Jack Daniel's drinker, and you
Okay.
want to give them something for Christmas.
Okay.
What comes to mind to give them?
They hate Jack. Do they like Jack Daniels?
They're like, yeah, I drink Jack and Coke at the bar, but bro, I would love a whiskey bottle for Christmas.
Nice.
Like that. So they're trying to get something good,
I love this.
but they're new.
Yeah.
You know,
And you want to pick a bottle they can find on the shelf. Obviously not an allocated
if
bottle.
they're new, definitely.
Yeah. Okay. Give me a second. Do you have any?
Yep. I had a
Okay, you
buddy
go
the
first.
other day that messaged me, and he's like, dude, my budget's like 40. And I was like, would you mind going up to 50? And I said, if you're willing to try something that's a little bit better, one that I think you would like, because Jack Daniels does give you a little bit of sweetness. You're going to get banana notes. I recommended the regular Michter's Sour Mash. It's a sweeter bottle, and you can find it almost at every store. It actually used to feel allocated. Like 3 years ago, I never saw it out. I don't know if they've been producing it more, but the Michter's Sour Mash, I remember seeing it was like birthday cake notes because you get a little bit of like that cakey taste to it with a little bit of the cream, sugary cream that comes on top. It's funny, when I first got into the whiskey game, I thought sour mash meant that the whiskey was sour.
Tastes sour. You're like, oh.
Yeah, I was like, is it going to be sour candy? But no, it's a sweeter whiskey. And yeah, I think that if you like somebody that you are somebody that likes sweet whiskey or bourbon in general, that would be a good starter to try, and it's a Christmas gift. So be willing to spend a couple extra $20.
I think sour mash just means they use like a little bit of the previous mash bill.
Yeah.
Kind of like when you make sourdough bread. Same for those bakers out there. That's kind of what it means. So mine would be Four Roses single barrel, and not the barrel strength, just a regular single barrel. It runs for an MSRP of like $40 to $45. So again, less than $50 about. And it's your typical like bourbon. It's sweet. You're not going to get too much complexity to it, but man, is it enjoyable, sweet, and I think it's 100 proof.
What do they go for?
About $45, I think.
$45.
Yeah.
How do you feel about Four Roses small batch select?
It's great. I love small batch select. So if you want to get even fancier, was it $55, $60?
Yeah, 57, something like
sure.
that.
So if you want to get even fancier, small batch select. But if you're just like you said, if you're you're showing up for a Christmas party, an ugly sweater party, you want to bring something. You want to just like for someone that he likes bourbon or likes whiskey, but not huge into it. Four Roses single barrel.
I agree.
And what did you say?
Four Roses small batch select, as well as, what was my first one?
I already forgot.
I literally forgot.
This is how you know you've been drinking too much whiskey.
Oh wait, no, sorry. Well, actually, I think about this in general. Like, I was just on the podcast with Rachel, and she was just like, "What did you get for Kelsey for Christmas last year?" I'm like, "You think I'm going to remember that? I forgot I met Matthew McConaughey
Yeah, you're like,
3
I
weeks
got her
ago."
something for Christmas.
Yeah, but yeah. So
reiterate,
so if it's just somebody that's new to whiskey, they go to dive bars. They're not that like specific on what they want, and you're just trying to get them something that's a whiskey for Christmas. I'm going to recommend Michter's Sour Mash that you can find at most stores. I would also recommend Four Roses Small Batch Select.
Yeah, and I said Four Roses single barrel, and I'm going to piggyback off the Old Forester thing. Old Forester 1920.
Ooh,
solid bourbon.
Yep.
Yeah.
Great picks. Any other hot take topics just to finish on? Because that's what I was just thinking. Like, what else can we throw out there?
Right before
like
you leave.
A question. Yeah.
Right before we leave to make someone ponder.
Because the Christmas is coming up. We can do that. Like, what's a good Christmas gift for somebody that is a whiskey fan and you want to get them something special to surprise them?
Glencairns, in my opinion.
Okay.
Glencairns. Something about Glencairns. So a couple of things is you can aerate it a little bit. It looks fancy as hell.
They're like $10 for one.
And no, I think you can get them honestly from Amazon. This is the official Glencairn one. I think I got 4 of them for like $16 or $17. And it's for someone who's getting into whiskey. It's nice because you can drink. I think it's meant to drink it neat, right? But it's really nice because you can hold it, you can spin it, you can look at the color, you can hold it like this. There's so many things to it. Mine's a Glencairn, in my opinion, like a nice $20, $25 gift.
Yeah, that's a really good one. We always joke because in the whiskey community, like getting somebody a smoker is like the most obvious thing to get someone.
Yeah.
So I almost like don't want to say that.
Yeah.
I think something a little more fancier would be a decanter, like a really nice decanter is really fun.
Yeah.
I love like decorating my bar cart. Like if they don't have a whiskey book or a cocktail book that you can throw into bar cart is really fun. Even more specific, what do you think about a whiskey for somebody that's into whiskey? Like let's say it's your buddy. I mean, I guess for us it's a little more complicated because we can get like crazy bottles.
Sure.
But let's say that they're more a moderate whiskey drinker rather than that first person I recommended.
So like for a moderate drinker, like something a little bit up on like a second tier.
Yep.
That's not as a non-allocated bottle, right?
Correct. They can find it, hopefully. What comes to mind?
Can I be a homer?
Yeah.
I want to say Still Austin.
Okay.
Cast strength bourbon or cast strength rye. Still Austin cast strength. I actually recommend it to two of my friends.
I like that answer.
Yeah, cast strength rye. A little bit more of like you're diving into craft distilleries now, but you're diving into great craft distilleries from Texas, so they can learn a little bit more about Texas whiskey.
Yep.
And craft Texas whiskey. So that's mine.
I like that answer, especially if it's somebody that's not local.
Yeah.
It makes it even more fun.
Yeah.
For me, I've recommended this before, and it is a little harder to find. But Jack Daniel's Sinatra.
Ooh. Okay.
And why I like it is the presentation. It comes in this really nice
It looks
box.
awesome. Yeah.
It's a 1 liter bottle.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
Oh.
So it's this huge
didn't know
bottle,
that.
but it's high-end whiskey.
Huh.
So you will get those Jack Daniel's banana notes.
Yeah,
But you're
always.
going to get a whole bunch of other stuff as well. So it's really good, I think, gift for somebody that's into whiskey.
And then I have one last one. I would say Ben Holiday. Bottled and bond soft red wheat. I think that's someone dropping on the package.
Oh.
I should go check. You keep talking.
I was like, is there a timer on?
Yeah, it's actually my whiskey. It might be your whiskey.
Ben Holiday's a really good one. I think it was like the sweet wheat I tried. I got a lot of red berry notes. Fantastic. But I feel like this is a good end to the podcast. Once again, check out Andrew from The Average Whiskey Drinker. He's on Instagram only. I'm trying to get him to get on TikTok, even though I heard TikTok might be banned, which is interesting. And then follow us on Instagram and TikTok. We're about to hit 100,000 followers on TikTok. Probably by the time you see this, we're at 100,000 followers. And then on Instagram, check us out. We're posting almost daily on there. But this has been really exciting to build this podcast. We're going to see where it goes. We're going to start doing some bourbon hunting videos with our vlogs on YouTube. And we're on Spotify too. So depending on which one you use the most, you can pick that. But thanks again for listening.
I got to say goodbye.
Yeah, say goodbye.
Someone wanted me to vote for someone.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I actually told them who you were. I was like, I feel like this is just a great point to end it. Yeah.
What?
To end it.
Oh, yeah. We should probably end. Yeah. All right.
Well, cheers.
See you guys.
Another podcast.
Thanks for watching.